Hey guys, Lecky here, back with another video in a long time, and I'm probably going to be getting into videos again. I wasn't doing them for a while just because I didn't have gems and things, but I do have gems on my personal now, so I'm going to be doing Grand Challenge videos from now on. Definitely rejoin my Discord server if you left it, or join it if you haven't joined it already. I'll be putting the link in the description, and it should also be in my overlay, but yeah, basically today I'm going to be reviewing my 6100 push that I just did really quick at the end of this season. Like, I just got this account yesterday, and I pushed it yesterday, so I'm just going to be reviewing my push today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. It's mostly Giant Three Musketeers, and then I finish it off with, like, a slightly different deck. So, which is also Three Musketeers. So, let's go to the ladder portion. I only played the ladder. I didn't play, like, the challenge or anything. But let's start with this replay here, which is against Olds, and it's, against a Royal Giant Lightning deck. So, I actually did very, well in this match, so I'm just going to be explaining what I did in this match, and, basically my thought process. And because it's a replay, I can explain it slightly better than if I was playing live, because I don't have the pressure of playing and commentating, where now I can just commentate. So I played my pump, and it easily baited out his lightning. So typically against lightning, the purpose of your pump is just to bait it out, because you really don't want them using their lightning on your Three Musketeers unless you're doing like a ram block or a giant block or something like that. But now that he used lightning, I don't quite know what he has. He could have golem, so I don't want to like go with a giant in the back or anything. But he plays Royal Giant, so I go with Giant, and he defends it with an Inferno Dragon, which is well played by him. And now I have to defend two lanes here, so I decide to use the Minion Horde on the Royal Giant, and the bats on the Inferno Dragon. So he actually uses his Baby Dragon on the wrong side, because it would have been much better if it was on the side with the minions. And I basically just take a bit of damage here, using my Zap to make sure the Inferno Dragon doesn't heat up. And with Giant Three Musketeers, it is a beatdown deck, so you can take damage. You can take damage occasionally. Sometimes it's just the best possible play to just take a bit of damage, because it's just not worth defending it when you would rather get the advantage. It's all about getting the elixir advantage and then spamming, basically. So here we go. Again, I'm able to successfully bait out his lightning, and now that I know he doesn't have golem, I can set up my giant in the back, and I can also do Three Musketeers in one lane behind it, because against lightning, you can actually, after they use their lightning, you can actually go Three Musketeers all in one lane, because after they use their lightning, like, they still have to cycle back to it. Then by the time they cycle back to it, and try to use it on your Three Musketeers, you have, like, your giant tanking for them. You have, like, your battle ram tanking for them. So, their lightning really isn't effective. So as you can see, I just put my battle ram there, like, and now at this point, like, even if he tries to lightning, it's just not even worth it, because, like, my Three Musketeers are at low health, like, I already have, like, my push down anyway, and, I see that he's, like, using a lot of elixir, so I just capitalize. And the thing with Giant Three Musketeers is keeping momentum, so if at all you're able to take a tower, just keep going, like, don't stop. So, because if you don't stop, one, they can't attack you, and two, you're basically gonna get another tower. Like, it's harder, because, you have troops that spill over from your first push to your second push, so, I'm easily able to, like, basically mitigate, any chance of him from attacking and get an easy 3-0. So that's basically not just how you beat Royal Giant, but any lightning deck in general. You just stack your Three Musketeers and then spam to a point where it's not even worth it for them to lightning. So this next battle is against a giant triple spell deck with Miner, and he also has the Electro Dragon to, like, stop my Battle Ram, so it's a pretty hard matchup, but I was able to beat it successfully. So let's go into what I did to beat this. So to start a match, typically I just want to play passive, like Bats in the back or Goblin Gang in the front. Nothing like too fancy, but I play Bats in the back, and they're actually able to go mitigate some of the damage from his Miner. I put a Battle Ram in front just so that, like, the bats get a little bit of value, like a little bit more value. It's better to do that than to waste the bats. So I see it as like a ton of stuff, and my best option here is just a defensive Three Musketeers. And even though he fireballs, I still got value out of them, and now I have another Musketeer in the other lane. And I'm not really going to overcommit to this push. I just kind of use the Three Musketeers to defend. So another thing that's important is knowing, like, when your Three Musketeers defense, you should support it, and when you should just let it go. In that case, I just kind of want to build up my elixir lead. I don't really want to wait, but here we go. So I see that he's already used his fireball, and there's really nothing he can do about this minion horde here. So I'm able to get some value there and take his tower, and I would say that's a successful push. And now that he used his zap, he has nothing for the bats. He does have his Electro Dragon, though, but I was able to get pretty good value. I believe I just let this push take the tower, because, like, there's really not much I can do. I do kite the prince with the Battle Ram, though, so I'm able to get the prince onto the other side. And I believe I used a giant for defense here, yeah. So I set up my giant, and this giant is not just defense, it's also attack, because once that prince dies, the giant's still going to be a threat. So unfortunately, the prince doesn't die, so that was just a defensive giant, but it wasn't bad. Like, it got value. So sometimes using a giant on defense just to soak up a ton of stuff can be really useful. So here, now he's going with his giant, so I decided to go with my Three Musketeers, and I actually just have a great bait potential, because if he uses his Fireball Zap on my Three Musketeers, then I can use my Minion Horde, and here he chooses to zap the Minion Horde, but now my Musketeers are just getting tons of value, and they basically just defend the whole push there, and that's basically what you want to do. Like, when someone has, like, Fireball and Zap or something like that, you just want to, like, that was a bad play, actually. I sent in Ram and Gang when he had Log. I think I, like, forgot he had Triple Spell or something, but, yeah, typically what you want to do is just bait them out like this. Like, either they Fireball Zap the Three Musketeers, or they have nothing for like, the Minion Horde. Basically, you can just outbait them every time. And here we go, I was able to defend properly. I just kind of spam in the center. Spamming in the center is a great strategy when you have a tower down, just because it's really hard to stop. Like, giant Minion Horde in the center is good when you know they don't have anything to counter it. Giant Goblin Gang is good. Giant Bats are good, so you can spam. Like, for example, I could set up my, basically when I have a tower down, I like setting up my Three Musketeers in the back, and then, like, spamming on either side, maybe spamming a giant in the center or something. So here I'm trying to bait out his Fireball, and he does take it, so, that means that he doesn't have much to take out my two Musketeers over there, and my giant supported them, so my Goblin Gang's able to, prevent the prince from killing my giant, and, since I was able to bait out his Fireball, now he just doesn't have anything for my Musketeers, and I'm able to take out that tower, basically. I think a little bit more I'll be able to. So here I identify that he has to go all in here. Like, he plays a giant in the center, I wait for him to do that, and then immediately, as soon as I see that giant in the center, I play Three Musketeers, because I know that he can't counter it. If he were to play giant to block the Three Musketeers, I would have played a defensive Three Musketeers instead, so I had to identify that. I couldn't be sure, but he did go aggressive, and that gave me my opportunity, so I was able to take that game against a very hard matchup. So I'm actually going to skip over this minor one, just because it's a pretty easy matchup just because it has poison, but I'm going to go to this last one where I actually used a different variant, which I might do a grand challenge video on, just because it's a very solid deck right now. It does have level 12 Barbarian Hut and level 12 Bandit, so it's not fully maxed, but those levels don't really matter, so let's go into this. The reason I used this deck instead of Giant Three Musketeers for the last game is because I feel like it's a bit more consistent. The reason I didn't use it before is because I feel very comfortable with Giant Three Musketeers, but when the stakes are really high, I kind of just want to use this deck. I don't want to keep using this deck because it's pretty boring. Like, you don't really get to, like, spam bait cards as much as you do in Giant Three Musketeers. So I really think that Giant Three Musketeers is the most fun deck. But, this guy's running Expo here, so we can just go over how I beat him. It definitely would have been easier with Giant Three Musketeers, but this deck is a safer one, so I decided to use it. And unfortunately, the mini P.E.K.K.A does get a hit on my Barbarian Hut. But the Barbarian Hut has like a ton of health, so it's fine. He decides to go in for like a defensive expo to try to take out my Barbarian Hut, which is a good move. I think I fireball it just to like get damage on the tower. I might. So let's see. Yeah, that's like the best play. Like I don't really have any good moves to do here other than fireball that. So I'm pretty like happy because I'm just one battle away. So I'll almost be done pushing, but here we go. So the Barbarian Hut does tank very well for the Expo, but you have to be careful that they don't get, like, value when they play their defensive Expo. So here we go. So I try to go in for a push, but his mini P.E.K.K.A and Fire Spirits are able to stop it all, so well played by him. But my Flying Machine is actually able to get, like, a ton of value on defense here. So here we go. And Flying Machine is going to spill over into the counter push, and he's going to come in an Ice Spirit to it, so looks like it's a bit of a reset. I have a slight elixir advantage, nothing too substantial, but I set up another Barb Hut, and he plays an Expo, which is good for me because, and I also send a Barbarian Barrel onto his Expo, and Barbarian Barrel against Expo is really good, because not only does the barrel, like, damage the Expo, but also the Barbarian pops up right on top of the Expo, like a miner, somewhere that you couldn't place it normally, so, here we go. Now, I haven't seen a heavy spell out of him, so, like, I'm thinking, even if he has, like, Fireball or Rocket, it's still worth it for me, because I get those two Barbarians pop out, helping my push on the other side, and I can basically just spam here, because, I timed it so that the two Barbarians were able to, help my push, and, now basically I'm just spamming everything I have. The Barbarians are helping out, and it looks like I'm about to take this tower, so that was basically my goal. And unfortunately, the mini P.E.K.K.A actually does one-shot the Barbarians from the Barbarian Hut just because they're level 12, but it doesn't really seem to matter here. And I'm able to take this game very comfortably. Like, I really didn't take too much damage, and that is the 6100 game. So, that was basically, like, my push to 6100. I did switch it up in the end, but they're all Three Musketeer decks. I'll probably be doing a Grand Challenge video of the deck I used finally, just because it's a really good deck. But overall, hope you guys enjoyed the video, hope you guys enjoyed the 6100 push, and hope you guys have success with either Giant Three Musketeers or the Barbarian Hut Three Musketeers deck. I feel like the Barbarian Hut deck's a lot easier, but definitely subscribe to my channel, rejoin my Discord server, and I'll see you guys in the next video, which will probably be a Grand Challenge video, so bye.